What's going on, everyone? Jae Crowder. His time with the Phoenix Suns may be coming to an end. The Phoenix Suns want to trade him and are actively looking for a trade partner to move off of Jae Crowder. And Jae Crowder, I think, is a guy that could really help many teams. He's definitely a 3-and-D guy. He's been known for that for some time. He's only 32 years old, so he's still young enough to where he'd be attractive to teams. He's only making about $10 million, a little over, just under $11 million, which is a reasonable salary for what he offers. A guy that can play the 3, guy that can play the 4, but the Phoenix Suns think it's time to move off of Jae Crowder. They've kind of proposed it as like, hey, they want to upgrade the roster. They need to get Cam Johnson more run time. They got to pay him, which is all true, but a lot of it really is that Jae Crowder, all the drama and all the mess that was going on with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are kind of in a tough spot already. You got a center that doesn't really want to be there, that basically quit on you in a game 7 and refused to go back in. Things are just kind of crumbling at the seams for the Phoenix Suns. The whole Sarver situation, that whole mess. Now you have the minority owner, which wants him to resign, step down, sell the team, do whatever, which is completely understandable. But there's just this dark cloud over the Phoenix Suns, and I think that they just want to move off of Jae Crowder because it's just another headache that they just want to be done with. It's one less thing to have to worry about. There's been a lot of talks of him in the locker room and him having issues with, other players and the coach and stuff like that, and just not really being a team player, which he has had, issues with in the past. The Cavs were a team that there was a lot of talks with, and that's one of the reasons he was shipped out, stuff like that. So there are a lot of questions about his character, but one place he was successful in, and he, based on reports, is very welcomed to reuniting with that said team, is the Miami Heat. Now, he was on the Heat team that went to the NBA Finals with the bubble. They faced the Lakers, and they ended up losing the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Jae Crowder was a solid piece for Miami, and I think that he would be a very welcome addition to the Miami Heat. Losing PJ Tucker, this is a guy that can come in and kind of fill that void, play the 3, play the 4. He fits the system. He works. He didn't really seem to have any issues or any problems in Miami. It seemed like all was kind of right in the world with the Miami Heat. I think Miami would be more than happy to bring him in. I think that he's a guy that they could really use, which would be solid. And just from the defensive side, I mean, you're talking, you got him, Kyle Lowry, you got Jimmy Butler, obviously, Bam Adebayo. You really would have a very solid, just rotation of guys that could really guard multiple positions, really play multiple positions, can, start and really just make an impact on both sides. And I think that Jae Crowder, he did that with them once and could easily do that again with them. The problem is how would Miami acquire Jae Crowder? Because they're not trading Tyler Hero for him. So outside of that, they don't have any real contracts to trade for him. Because all of their contracts outside of Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and then if they're not trading Tyler Hero in this deal, all the other contracts are pretty much just like $1 to $2 and some change $1 million deals, except for Caleb Martin. But here's the problem. He can't be traded until January 14th. So if he can't be traded till January 14th, how do they make a deal? And you wouldn't be able to do him just straight up because he's only making little over $6 million. And even with the 125% rule, it's still not enough to get there. So literally you'd have to give up him and another piece. Beyond giving up him and another piece, is that depending on what that piece is, and you imagine that the Suns are probably going to want some picks, I just don't know how Miami gets there. And they would have to wait till January, which I don't think Phoenix is going to do. As much as I think that he would be a fantastic fit, and there's all the talks and Jae Crowder himself welcoming a Miami Heat return and reunion. It's just, I don't really know how they would make that work in order for something like that to happen. I don't see the Suns wanting a Duncan Robinson and his big contract. I just don't see that. And what else do the Suns give up in order to make that work beyond Crowder? Because Duncan Robinson's making like 25 million a year, somewhere around in that ballpark. So you'd have to give up Crowder and probably several pieces, which I don't see happening. So unless Miami wants to move off of Tyler Hero, which I definitely think the Phoenix Suns would do immediately, but come on, that's unrealistic, and that'd be foolish for Miami to do. If they were to do that, they could get much more than that. But I'm just saying, like, that's the only way that they really could get there right now, anytime soon, unless they package like 3 or 4 guys, and then even then, it's kind of hard to get there. Like, you literally have to trade like half your roster to meet the requirements to trade for Jae Crowder. So it would have to be a 3-team deal to some capacity. It's kind of what I talked about on the Lakers channel. If you're not subscribed to Lakers channel, subscribe to Lakers channel. Link down in the description below. But on the Lakers channel, talked about, because there was a lot of talks about should the Lakers go after him. Again, they're kind of in the same position. How do they get there? Like even Kendrick Nunn, things like that, they'd have to give up other pieces. But the only real pieces they have is Kendrick Nunn and Wenyen Gabriel, and that's still not enough. So it'd have to be a 3-team deal. Maybe they could work something out to where it's like a 3-team deal for maybe the Jazz. Maybe Miami can give up a first and they can kind of make the money work somehow. It's just really hard for Miami to get there. Personally, I don't see the path for Miami to get in Jae Crowder, because as much as I think Jae Crowder is on a reasonable salary, he's too much for a team like Miami to go and acquire him. And that's the same problem that's going to be with many teams, is that not many teams have those mid-tier guys that they could use to go and trade for Jae Crowder. One team that comes to mind that kind of has a bunch of like mid-tier contracts would be like the Clippers. Like maybe the Clippers want to consolidate some guys, so maybe you could work out a 3-team deal with the Clippers somehow. But even then, like would the Clippers want Martin? Would the Clippers want Crowder? Like how does that work? I just think it's really tough. I don't see Miami making this happen. And that's kind of been Miami's problem all offseason. You've seen Miami linked to basically every possible trade there is this offseason. Problem is they don't really have any tradable assets as far as players go outside of Tyler Hero. And then on top of that, they don't have any like mid-tier salaries to include to match salaries and stuff like that. So it's just really hard. That's why Miami hasn't done a trade, because all of their money is into, a handful of guys. And it's a tough position for Miami to be in. But I do think Jae Crowder would be great for this team. I think him and Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, I think all of these guys would greatly benefit from having this guy. It's basically your PJ Tucker replacement. And it's a guy that can play the 4. It's a guy that can play the 3. It's a guy that understands the system, that knows, what Miami expects of him, that was able to work great. I mean, this team was able to get to the NBA Finals, and Jae Crowder was a big contributor in that. He was great defensively, knocking down threes, doing the dirty work for this team, and that's kind of what he's built his name on and position on in this league. But it's just I just don't see how Miami can make it happen. At least anytime soon. But again, it's like if the Suns really want to move off of Jae Crowder now, they're not going to wait till January so Miami can get him. And it's just, and then even then, like I said, you'd still have to give up more than just Caleb Martin. It'd have to be Caleb Martin and like 2 other guys that are making, it'd have to be like Caleb Martin, like a Strus, and like a Vincent to actually get to where you need it to be in order to make enough to make the money work. So it just, is that worth Miami giving up to basically go get a Jae Crowder? As great as Jae Crowder would potentially be for Miami, it's just, I don't really see it. I really don't see it happening. I don't see it working out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Miami, do you think they should find a way, maybe a 3-team deal, something like that, kind of work something out to where they could get Jae Crowder? Or do you think it's just, there's no path to get there. He's not going to be available come January. So, Miami should just forget about it and ride with the guys that they currently have. Do you think Jae Crowder would be a nice addition, a nice fit to this team? Or do you think like, nah, like what we saw last time was enough? Miami should be going in another direction. Again, however you feel, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Quick little shameless plug, go subscribe to my second channel, link down in the description below. As it stands, Lakers. I am a diehard Laker fan. I love talking Lakers. I could talk Lakers all day, just like I could talk about all sports all day. And I'm sure many of you watching to this point enjoy my commentary, enjoy these discussions. So go check out the Lakers channel. Even if you're not a Laker fan and you just like hearing me talk about stuff in basketball, go over there and subscribe. I'll link down in the description below. I promise you won't be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.